are live at the Restores booth number 525 on your lovely Flow EXPO depth chart. 2024 Flow EXPO here at the Pomona Fairplex, and I have with me the special maid of honor, if you will, Joe Crisara, Uncle Joe of Service MVP, his creation and the writer of, hold on, I gotta grab it, of, you gonna do that route? Okay. Of What Should We Do Now, which is available right now on Amazon and
Goodreads and everything else. Amazon's really where it's at. That's where to get it. And definitely, thanks for inviting me here, Craig.
Of course. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for coming for the ride.
It's my pleasure.
And I do have to keep toting this. This is what, number one in all the do-it-yourself books right now, or what's the deal?
It's number one in every format, in hardcover, softcover, and also in the Audible. Number one in all formats right now in the service library in Amazon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's killing it. Learn from this.
He's number one in general.
And he's number one in our hearts.
That's true. That's accurate.
So let's talk a little bit. Obviously, we're here at the 2024 Flow EXPO, and Joe, Service MVP. Let's just, for anybody who will be watching this or is watching this right now, let's just talk about what Service MVP does for the trades.
Well, Craig, there's a fact that the prices of everything have gone up. Trucks, material, water heaters, everything costs more, even labor. But people have not educated themselves as to how to communicate at the level of the new prices. So there's a gap between the ability to communicate the value for the price that people do. So Service MVP fills that gap for the entire service industry, specifically for plumbers, heating and air conditioning, electricians, landscapers, and garage door companies, as to how to communicate so that the client feels, even though the price for a tankless water heater with water purification and a Wi-Fi shutoff valve with a 12-year warranty is $16,000, that they feel like they got $20,000 in value.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that consumers feel like the higher prices are worth it. And with the science of pricing, it does show us that the more people purchase, the happier they are. And the reason is that more solutions are being done, and it's a more permanent solution where there's no more worries. So that's really what we teach, is the science of connecting, science of pricing, and the science of call management to bring things to a conclusion. Mm-hmm. To do that, you do that, and you're going to triple to quintuple sales every time.
Now, what have you experienced since changing over from contractor selling to Service MVP? What's been the biggest change in your business model?
Well, I think we thought the fastest route, the shortest thing to say, is we teach people how to sell. The problem is most plumbers are grinders, and they're not here to learn how to be a used car salesman, right? So we found that message was limited and we were topped out. The second we went to Service MVP, that year we tripled our sales by rebranding. And because we started thinking about what are we really trying to do? Is it just selling? That's a lazy way of putting it. Creating an MVP, somebody who's a star, in both the client's eyes, and the company's eyes, and their family's eyes, right? Because why are we doing this? We're doing it for the family of each individual person who works in a service business. We're doing it for the team, so everybody can get together and they can all win the MVP as a team. And then we do it for the client to make sure that they feel like, you know what, I paid more, but I got the best service from the MVP. So we realized that actually Jay Abraham, who is a famous marketing guy, he worked with us on it, and he's like, you're just trying to create people who are really good, like the MVP, like Service MVP. And we're like, uh-oh, hang on. Say it again. Service MVP. I was like, I think we're done now.
Yeah, we're good. We got a name now.
We got
an entity. We got a name. We got a brand. We got everything.
Right? It was interesting. It's like, we went there. It was it's going to be a long process. And in the second meeting, he's like, you got it.
Yeah.
That was it. So yeah, since then it's had a big impact, and it had an impact on our culture too, Craig. Not just the clients, but our own culture. There's a higher purpose than just selling. It's really letting people sell themselves. That's what we've come up doing. Mm-hmm.
And it's building the relationships. The one thing I've experienced with some of the guys I've met today is how important it is to continue that relationship with this customer down the road, knowing that anything that, if they feel like you're saying, they feel like they're getting that MVP service, they're going to continue calling that trade, whether it's electrician, whether it's plumbing, whether it's HVAC, whatever. They're going to continue calling that company because they know they were taken care of properly.
Well, it's like you're spoiling people. When you do great service, you're doing things that nobody expected, and they feel spoiled. And truthfully, they are spoiled, because if they tried to call somebody else, like they may be tempted to say, I'm going to see if I can find somebody cheaper this time.
Yeah.
And then like you could find Spirit Airlines if you cheaper.
Yeah.
But then eventually,
you get there.
and then eventually, Spirit Airlines charges you for the water. They charge you for luggage. They charge you for standing in line. So basically, you pay the same money or more with Spirit Airlines, but you got bad service. You had to put the service together yourself.
Yeah.
When you go to a premium airline, you pay first class, it's all done for you. So the bottom line is that once somebody flies first class, they're pretty much spoiled. Nobody wants to sit next to the bathroom anymore.
I think Edgar. Let me introduce real quick here. Edgar, by the way, is the Edgar Mirzoian, the ops manager / head of the Orange County division here at Restores. Go.
Thanks for the intro, but what I wanted to say is no one's ever been happy flying Spirit. If you have, you're a liar. So you can't put a price on the experience that somebody they receive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're dealing with someone who's been trained to find what you need and the service you need, and just sell, the price doesn't matter at that point. So at the end of the day, like if you fly first class, you're not going to go back. If you fly in a private jet, you're not going to want to fly first class. So at the end of the day, you're paying for a service that's going to last a lifetime, because you're raising the bar for everybody in your marketplace too.
Yeah. I think if you looked at it too, guys, if you looked at the reviews that an airline would get, how many bad reviews are given by the people in first class?
Almost never.
Exactly. It's going to be the guy who got the economy ticket, who got bumped, all that kind of stuff. It's always going to be the one who paid the least amount of money. They're going to be the most unhappy with the service.
Yeah.
Because they had to sit next to the toilet, or
because they got shit service.
That's it. You paid what you paid for. It was the investment in service. So although the same airplane gets you to the same city, there's one where you relax and got more room. People are serving you drinks and food, and the other one, it's like hope you don't mind sitting next to a toilet where all the babies crying next to you. That's where you're at.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, obviously the difference between companies are the people that work in the companies, because most all in the marketplace have essentially the same offer, right? How would you present to people like the difference that our customers are going to feel when working with us, or our business-to-business relationships? Because we implement everything that Service MVP teaches. We communicate better. We do all these things that you can't just sell. So how would you bring that up to someone asking, so what's so different about your company?
Really, the main difference is not only do we have all the data, the science of connecting, science of pricing, and the science of project management, but there's a higher purpose, which is called pure motive service. Pure motive service is the knife that cuts through the fog of uncertainty. Basically, when you're not sure, one thing that is sure is our motivation to serve. I want to serve with the highest quality and reliability to make sure my client is safer and healthier, to make sure that we do things before people ask us, not after they ask us. Like that first class doesn't ask you if you want to get a meal. They already got the meal on the plane for you. They don't ask you if you want it. They already made coffee. Right? They don't say, hey, should I make a pot of coffee? No, we already made the coffee.
We'll charge you for it.
Would you like some? We already have some, right? We got adult beverages, and it's all included.
Yeah.
So we don't ask you for that stuff, and then put it on the plane. We got it on the plane before you ask us. And so I think that part of it, and then the customized relevant solutions, which you're making solutions that are meaningful for every customer, that are relevant, and there's a reason why we did it. And then finally, it's called honesty, even when it's not popular. So pure motive service is the thing that differentiates Service MVP from all the other sales training. I think that motivation, teaching people what the motivation should be for service, is the thing that makes us the best.
And the one thing I will say about, especially as I've noticed the trades are getting a lot of the older profession is dying out and the younger is coming with a different mindset, coming with a different approach to it, which is great because we're getting a lot of fresh blood, a lot of fresh energy. The one thing that your approach brings to it is the professionalism and experience that you've had for years and developed, where something tells me, if we haven't seen already, we're going to see more of people like just taking data and not being able to be boots on the ground, not understanding what it really is like being in the trenches.
Well, that's really what you get with the book. What should we do? I'd say probably 30 to 35% of the book are stories that go with each little section about what happened when I failed by doing it the other way.
Yeah.
So when you read the book, 35% will be very familiar because it's the crap you're doing right now that's wrong. Because I did it wrong let's put it this way. I did things wrong for about 23 years, and now I did it right for about 24 years, right? So I can smell when somebody's doing it wrong. Like I hear him saying, like, here's how we answer the phones. I'm like, oh my God, I can tell what they're going to go. Like, I know exactly. Yeah, here's the price they get. Like, I hear somebody on Facebook like, yeah, I lost this job because they emailed me to tell, look at this email I got. They said they went with somebody cheaper. And I told them, the fact that you got emailed, it tells how crappy your service is. Because if you were managing the project properly, you wouldn't be emailing it. You'd find out to your face. Do you want to do this? Or listen, are you interested or not interested? If you're not interested, just tell me no.
Yeah.
That's what I teach. So I tell people, get a yes or a no after every single time you give somebody a price, or get another appointment. As a matter of fact, we have one of your guys. Who's the guy who came to our training from Restorers?
Javier and Jesse.
Javier, I mean, I tell you what, I should just get Javier over here. Is he around?
No, he's on call, actually.
He should be here. I tell you, there's nobody who sells my service like Javier. He sells it better because he's just like, dude, I was at the Restorers, which is the finest restoration company I've ever met. I've met a lot of them too. I mean, seriously, because I knew it was right, because Restorers didn't even know what peer motive servers was, but they were already doing it before they met me. They just didn't have a word for it.
So you stole our system.
We did. We didn't tell you, and then we put a new name on it and called it ours.
Yeah. And now we just steal it back. Yeah.
And then he came and said, "What should we do?"
And then you gave him the title of the book.
That's pretty much. That's it. It all happened together.
No.
But seriously, Restorers is a great company because I believe in it, because I believe in the motivation, and I see nothing but care, respect, and support when they deal with the public, when they deal with plumbers, when they deal with the end consumer. Everybody in the company is wired to show the maximum amount of care, respect, and support. And that's all I've ever felt from them. That's all I've witnessed. I've watched what they do. I'm just wondering, I would say, I always watch a company to see if they're talking a certain way, but how are they actually doing stuff? Yeah. And that's the Restorers difference. They walk the walk. If they say they're going to do something, they're doing it and more.
Clip that. And yeah. No, I mean, I'm removed just like you are, realistically. Yes, I work for the company, but I will say the one thing
Craig, by the way, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Today
is my last day.
You're actually going into the field to cut some drywall.
Yeah, I'm a tech now. No, I will say it starts from the top. It really does start from the top of every company, and it starts with Edward. And I'm not sitting here because he's paying my paycheck or his brother here at all. It's purely because of the fact that they give a crap, and they give a crap about their people. And that is important about any business, any company, especially in this day and age, because there are a lot of options out there. And for you to be able to care about, especially the companies that you've done trainings at, those are owners who care about their employees, because yes, they want them to get paid, but they want to make their money for themselves, but they want to take care of them. So they give them as many possibilities to generate a good quality of life.
When you train with Service MVP, you teach your technicians how to communicate. In any industry, if you don't know how to communicate in life, you're going to get nowhere in your relationships, in your job, in anything you do. So the fact that there's a guy over here sitting next to us teaching plumbing companies and plumbers how to communicate, not to sell more, that's just a byproduct, but to help people better, that's a company we want to be aligned with. And the companies that actually are aligned with Service MVP already, those are the companies we love to work with because there's less work for us to do to make that relationship blossom.
Well, as I remember, a certain plumbing HVAC company, one of the guys who worked there uses, what should we do for his dating life?
Yeah.
Nice.
So-
It does work.
It's so when you really break it down, yes, it's geared towards the trades, but if you're in any type of industry and you work with people, you work with customers, you work with in consumer electronics, you work in car sales, restaurants, it is a book that really would be beneficial for you to at least take a look at to see if you can understand what this could do to help your sales and help increase your productivity and your job.
You know, in the end, Craig, it's all about making choices. You know, for everybody. You know, when you're parenting your children, and they say, "I don't like school," it's like, well, you have to make a choice. This is your education. I can't tell you to like it or not, but I can tell you that it's going to be very important for you. But I want, you know, your mom and I support you through it. If you go to school, we will support you through this. If you don't go to school, then you're on your own on this. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so if you give your child a choice at that, they're going to choose the right thing. So even parenting, not just heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and all that stuff, but truthfully, I really believe that we build people to be stronger because they're more committed to a specific outcome. And that's really what the clients are going to get. And that's what your team's going to get when you use our company.
So to piggyback off that, the first time we had a lunch and learn together, Mike Munoz actually showed up all the way from Texas, right?
Yeah, Michael, yeah.
So he showed up and we were having a side conversation. He said, I use this service MVP, pure motive service, and the way you guys do things when I parent my children. And what he said was, it's the easiest thing ever. It's like, do you want to go to bed, honey? No? Okay, if you ask a closed-ended question, you're going to get a yes or a no. Or you can ask, do you want to read a book and then go to bed? Or should we go to bed now? I want to read a book and go to bed. Okay, read the book and go to bed. But if you just guide them into making the decision, but you have to guide them in the right direction, they're going to make a decision, one or two.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, Edgar. There's a ring of truth to that. When you the way you just explained that one, when Michael explains that all the time, there's a ring of truth. Like, yeah, that is a healthier way to parent children.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're going to go to bed right now. You're making the choice for your kids. You keep making the choice for your kids, you're going to have weaker kids. You make the choice for your employees here, you got to do it this way, then you're going to have weaker employees. You got to give people a choice where one choice is the right way and one choice is a way that's not going to work. And let them realize, and that's what training is all about. It's a choice to be able to graduate through it. Mm-hmm. And that's really, I think, whatever every student has, I think that's what we are famous for. And that's why I'm so proud of what we do.
Awesome.
What would you say has been, especially as you've gone nationwide with this, you've done a lot of these, like you just got done with True Grit in Nashville or Memphis, right? What do you say has been the biggest factor for taking the United States, if you will, by storm with this?
Well, I think interesting, a True Grit, we have 200 people there, so it's not the biggest conference, and that's okay. But let's put it this way. Have you ever gone to a conference where 200 people are at the conference, plus we had about 12 vendors in there, right? And every single person, all 200 people by the end of the conference, knew everybody else's first name, remembered everybody else's first name, and the vendors too are involved. So True Grit is a thing where we get everybody together and they have to go through this stressful experience to graduate from the wow customer service, the field staff experience, the office staff experience, the objection handling experience, the leadership, and then the call-by-call management. So basically, everybody in the company has to see what the other person is going through, and they have to do that job for a few minutes while they're doing it. Yeah. By doing it that way, there's a certain amount of empathy. Now everybody, the whole team understands, like, now I know what these guys are doing out there.
Yeah.
And now I know why the office staff is so stressed. Now I know what my boss is going through when he has to manage me. And you can't put a price on that. Seriously, I think the escape room training we do is one of the greatest things we've ever achieved. The only thing I wish is that I knew how to explain it better, because
In due time.
it's difficult to explain it truthfully. But what people get is that you get the team that gets a chance to experience everybody else's job on a momentary basis. So there's much more the culture of togetherness, because now you don't think that, oh, the office isn't doing anything. Yeah, they're doing plenty. Don't worry. Here's everything. And I'll tell you what. When everybody goes through it, they go, "Man, if I had to do this all day, no way." And same with the field. The office is going, "Wow, if I had to do what these guys got to do, diagnose the system, make the prices, make them personal." I think I do it every call, and now I know why they're so stressed out there. Right?
Yeah.
And so basically, that's what I think is. I think if I could I think one of my greatest accomplishments is yet to come, is getting all factors of the company to work together as one team. That's why I think I really want to be. I know, what should we do right now? I'm famous for that. I'd love to be famous for bringing the office staff, the field staff, the installation team, and the leadership teams all together, where everybody feels like they're one unit. That's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah. To me, I mean, and that's important, because I think what happens, especially with a lot of these companies, is they continue to develop and grow, which is great for the company, but a lot of them cease to remember what got them there, or what did they do to, you look at techs and project managers, a lot of guys I deal with, out in the field when I'm doing video work, and as a tech, you grow into a project manager. But a lot of times you've been project managing so long, you kind of forget what it's like to rip a sawzall into a wall. Yeah. And it's just, there's a certain sense of putting yourself in their shoes.
Right. Well, Craig, here's what I can say. I watch your content.
Oh, thank you.
So I tell you what, when I see a guy with your energy and your love of enthusiasm, that's how I know that, like, restores and your belief. So that's what we try to figure out. How can we get every employee to have the kind of love of enthusiasm and that you bring, Craig? Because when I see the content you create, I know you love your job. I know you love this company. I knew there's a secret, Edgar. I won't tell Craig. Craig, don't listen to this, Craig.
Okay.
But here it is.
Earmuffs.
Craig would actually do this job for free if he could.
Son of a...
Well, the funny thing is,
because he loves it so much. I can tell he loves it so much. If he didn't have to pay your rent,
that's right,
and all that stuff,
yes,
he would do it for free. If we all lived on an island, he would do this for nothing.
100%.
I know he loves it so
Craig,
much.
Can you write that down, please?
I do.
But anyway, that's what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to feel like I love doing this so much that it's not a job. It's something I love doing, and that's why I think that's really how I hope that Service MVP does accomplish in the long run. Which is everybody loves their job. Because here's what I think. Don't look for a new job. Learn how to love the job you currently have. That's what I love to see.
The one thing I can add is the reason why the plumbers get into plumbing is because they're a little rough around the edges. They're not the best communicators. When you teach a plumber how to communicate, the potential is
doors open.
I mean,
immensely.
you tell them. It's insane.
Well, because nobody has higher credibility. When you go to somebody's house as a plumber, you're already like, out of a scale of 1 to 10, you're already at 12 that you showed up on time or you showed up at all.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, good. Oh, this guy sounds like he knows it. Look at that truck and look at that uniform. This guy knows what he's doing. So only what we communicate makes it less than a 12, right? So what I try to do is let's take that 12 to a 15 by communicating even better than they thought. Yeah. So, and I think we all know this. Listen, just go back to your own wife or girlfriend and understand, the more surprises that are good surprises you can bring her, the more they're going to love you. Seriously. Life is built on a series of surprises. There's always 2 surprises. One surprise is, Diane, he forgot about me. and the other surprise is, Diane, I can't believe he thought about me and he did that for me. He thought about me. And guys, I think you understand that too. When you go home, man, dang, I can't believe that she's already got dinner plans. I don't have to think about that. Or dang, she did that laundry, and so much stuff that people do together. And it's like, I need to help out more around here. So you feel obligated, right? That's really what relationships are about, is that little mini surprises. And that's really what Service MVP teaches, how to surprise a customer with better service than they were expecting. They were expecting just to get the sink unclogged, but they didn't think we'd have to, you also fix that drywall and get restorers out here to get that mold out of the house and stuff like that. Yeah. I didn't know you had a team of people who did that. And the insurance company will pay for some of it?
Most of it, hopefully.
Exactly. And so, man, nobody does that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, Restorers makes plumbers provide that surprise that they're not expecting. Like, I thought you were just going to fix the pipes. I didn't know you were going to help me with that part, too. So, and that's really what we teach is so we teach people how to use a service like Restorers because it's something that the client wouldn't expect the plumber to do, but they're doing the going above and beyond and doing anticipating what they're going to need, not waiting for people to ask you for it.
It's good service. I love what Nick says, the way he lays up the whole restoration process to the customer, because he says, I believe it's good service to let the homeowner know what is wrong with their house. And I've noticed something that's wrong with their house. It's my job to provide a free inspection with Restorers and let them handle it from there. Now, we're going to go out there and give them options. That's the difference.
There you go.
We're not going to give them ultimatums.
Yeah.
We're going to guide them in the right direction. If you want to go down this path, go. If you want to go down this path, go. The best part about it is you have options.
And as Edward puts it, we're problem solvers in the end. You know, if they call, I mean, right now I'm dealing with a very dear friend of my wife, and she has mold issues and all these things and a leak that's coming through. I've talked with Edgar about it. We were able to get a leak detection company out there to come and take a look at this thing. This is all the part of the process where if you know how to do the job, I'm not looking to, and I know as a company, I'm not looking to just fix this job. I'm looking to take care of this person.
Yeah.
And I know with your training and with what should we do is exactly that same thing is what do we do to make this situation go away? Not, let's fix this and 6 months later you'll be calling me again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I need to say is like every single problem is the same size, every problem. The difference between problems is one problem has been marinating and has been snowballing for over a certain amount of time. And if you really dig deep enough and ask the questions, why, you figure out that the problem is the same. And it's the same size. We lost Uncle Joe.
We lost Joe for a second there. He's having he needs some water.
There we go.
Yeah, we got Joe back. He needed some water there. Take a swig of that water and marinate for a moment.
His way of saying that.
Don't worry, I'm here. I'm still alive.
What did we do? What did we do?
What should we do?
Is that your new book, Craig?
That's my new book. It is written by my pseudonym.
What did we do?
What did we do?
Whoa.
It's a recollection of my past experiences.
The next one is what the happened.
That's the next one. Yeah, it's going to be a series of books like that.
So, I mean, obviously, I understand why you would write a book because of all your experience. But what has been the deciding factor for you going in route with this book? It's got to be to reaching people that you didn't have that voice with before.
Well, you know, it does apply to every business. Matter of fact, I had a coffee shop in southern Wisconsin that was going to go out of business in 2 weeks, and I said, let me just make a different menu and show you how to get the cash rate, because they were doing a thing where they weren't. They were just taking orders and there was no menu. I was like, let me make a menu. We'll put a sign that says order here and pick up drinks here.
Wow.
In one weekend, the next weekend, I know it sounds crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Seriously, by doing that, the company made more in 2 days than they made in the entire month before that. Because they made it clear on how what we have, right, and how you do it. It sounds like, yeah, we can't figure it out. Nobody likes lattes. I'm like, no, they don't know it exists. You didn't put it up there for them. That's why.
I said.
And so that's the thing. I think that, like you're saying, Craig, the book is there. It goes over the entire service experience and the science of pricing and the warranties and all that kind of stuff, and then managing the opportunity to bring it to a conclusion. And that really applies to every kind of a business, whether it's the trades or and I'm in the works trying to work with here to Jack Canfield, who is author of the Success Principles and the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. He was so impressed with it that he's like, you know what, we should do a Success Principles for service contractors. So we're currently, that's in the works. We're hoping by next year that would be a release there too. So that'll be my next book.
Yes,
coming out here. It'll be a collaboration with Jack Canfield and I was very fortunate that he loved it and things like that. But that's kind of appeal I'm looking for. I'm looking to get something where anybody who reads it would get value, whether you're in the trades or not. Seriously.
Yeah. Perfect.
So in the end, how would you say the reception's been for the book? Obviously, we see number one and everything, but when you're speaking to, I ran into, I want to say is Matt from Sweetwater Plumbing. He had done, I think, some of the virtual work with you, and his biggest goal today was coming to meet you in person finally and get the book signed and tell you how much he meant to you. I mean, how much you meant to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how's that been for you?
It's very rewarding to be here, and really every time I go to a conference where I'm treated like I just think I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm just a dude who sits around watching TV and the sports and my football and all that kind of stuff.
Who's your team?
I can't believe don't bring it up. It's the Chicago Bears. But,
I heard they're gonna have a new quarterback soon.
Well, I think we're gonna. Things are looking up, but right now I don't know. What did we do anyway? Let's not bring that one up.
I think you need to send that to Soldier Field and just say, "Hey guys, it's a complimentary book."
Everybody needs one for sure in that team. But nonetheless, I think it's just rewarding to hear the. And truthfully, I just feel that the book is. Like I am flawed in many ways, but we had Helena Boucher who wrote Tommy Mello's Home Service Millionaire and Al Levy's book, and a lot of other books for the most successful. I hired her as our writer, so she went through over 200 hours of audios, and she took the class itself and graduated from the class, so she could understand from the experience of the student what we do, and then she structured and wrote the book in my words. But when I read the book, I'm like, man, this sounds exactly like the way I talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe she did it. So I have to give a shout out to Helena Boucher, who actually did the writing in the book. But I tell you what, when I read it, I was really proud of it. And it has a lot of different Uncle Joe's golden rules that are in there, and a lot of the bullseyes, I call them. Like bullseyes are like small bigs. A small thing that will make a big result. So the book is just loaded with that in there.
Nice.
So even if you didn't read the whole book, you just open it up to one of those bullseyes and say, this is my thing today. We're going to do these 5 bullseyes.
My favorite is the magic moments.
Yeah, the magic moments is that make that friendship and raise the self-esteem. The science behind it is make people feel good enough to want to purchase a more premium option. Because the truth is, the reason why people are cheap is because they don't feel worthy of a premium solution. That's why.
Well, I'll put it this way. Anytime you're around Uncle Joe, you get magic momented.
Yeah, like Craig did. He just got that.
Yeah.
I got to know, though. Who the hell came up with Uncle Joe first?
It was actually, I never
His
said
nephew.
it. No, it was not my family at all. But several people start calling it at different seminars, and it just went viral. It's just like, I actually had once, it was this woman who, I can't think of her name. I met her at the Tommy Mello event. She used to work for Nexstar. I can't think of her name. Now she has her own little business. And she said, I love everything you do, but you got to get rid of the Uncle Joe because it sounds creepy. And I'm like, well, it's only creepy in the mind of the beholder.
My book,
I said,
my art for kids.
She's projecting.
I said, I think you might be projecting something negative there. I said, truthfully, I don't say no or yes. I said, you know what? Everybody is flawed, including me. But whenever people come up with, it's always perfect. The universe has a way of finding the perfect results, no matter what you do. And I truly believe that. I believe when people do things wrong, they found the perfect system to fail. And when you do things right, you find the perfect system to succeed. And and I'm the same way. I'm on that road just trying to find the perfect system to get the book and all the information that we have out there. And I have by all means not perfected that. I am still in the beginning stages of how to get our message out there in a way that people can consume it. And I really feel truthfully that I hope one day, my greatest dream would be that we'd have millions of people with Service MVP learning the material. Because I think what we would have is everybody seeing the best in each other, everybody being an optimist, everybody giving choices to everybody, and everybody bringing everything to conclusion so there's no loose ends to waste our life on procrastinating and things where we're always wasting life chasing down opportunities. We shouldn't chase them. The opportunity is here. Capture it. It's yours. The opportunity has always been coming to you, and you don't ever have to chase it. That's what I want everybody to know.
Especially right now. Call volume slows down. Guess what? You don't need a lot of leads to hit the revenue that you need to hit to be successful. At the end of the day, a 10% increase in conversion rate, a 10% increase in average ticket, and a 10% increase in better reputation online is going to snowball. 3 years of that is like you can cut your marketing expense probably by 25% just by doing that.
Well, nobody ever won a contest by doing more calls.
Yeah.
But you have won plenty of contests by doing more work for every customer. You know, the worst case scenario, you use the program, everybody in your company sells 8,000 on their first call, and you have to reschedule some calls today. So I would rather have a person park their truck at one house and get everything done than go to multiple houses and drive around Southern California or New York State or Houston or something like that in traffic. The more you're driving around, the crappier you are as a technician. The stronger you have a driver you become, but the worse you become as being a plumber. Does that make sense?
More driving, more liabilities, more money on gas.
And the more calls you do, the more liability you're putting out there too. So really, truthfully, if you did 2 calls a day on average, that would be about perfect, truthfully. I always say schedule about 3, and then I'd say you have to earn the 4th one if you did good on the first 3. I always say the next call is not promised to anybody. You got to do the job right to get the next call. That's how I look at it.
That's great. What percentage of plumbing and HVAC and electrical companies do you think actually communicate properly?
I think right now I'd say by about 3%.
That's massive.
There's a major. That's why I said there's a major
disconnect
opportunity. Truthfully, major because so many people are disconnected. Craig, like you said, I think 97% of people like at this conference. It's an eye opener. When I go to some other conferences, I'm going to be at Victor's event down there in Dallas. Yeah, Victor Vancouver. Profit. I'll be down there in May, and I was just at our event. And when I go to Profit, I probably have 90% will know me, but that's probably like 3%, not even 3% of the whole group, right? But if I go here at this thing here at PCCLA, it's rare. Very few people know me here. Like, have you ever heard of me before? Never.
Really?
I'm teaching people who I am for the first time 97% of the time here. There are 2 or 3 people that, like you said, Matt came here just for me, and that's a high honor to get that. But truthfully, I think 97%, and it's not about me being the most well-known, and we have tons of coaches. I'm just the person, the conduit who brings the information, but I really want to see people that information creates that transformation to transform people from where they are now to where they want to be. That's what I want to try to do. So I think my dream would be that just like getting a plumbing license, you'd get a communication license before you start driving that van.
Interesting.
And going and do that. I think everybody should be licensed to communicate. I think Service MVP is the perfect company to issue that license.
Yeah, I think so.
At graduation.
But you do graduate people when they go to
college and school.
No, what's your event called again? Not True Grit.
Total immersion.
Total immersion.
That's where Javier went.
That's a game changer. Javier, here's a live testimonial for you. Javier was a helper 4 years ago, and in 2023 he sold almost $3 million. But his conversion rate went up by 20% the day after he left Total Immersion. And he started selling out-of-pocket jobs and started financing things. You know, in the restoration industry, that's unheard of, because it's like an ultimatum. Oh, you don't have insurance? Oh, well, better luck next time.
Right.
Who has $15,000 to $20,000 sitting around? Very few people.
Yeah. You know, truthfully, the restoration industry is so dysfunctional because everybody's looking for somebody else to fund the project. Truthfully, if you gave the customer the options, they'd be shocked that I could upgrade my kitchen instead of just fixing it. Like instead of instead of saying we'll fix it back to where it was, why don't we upgrade it to something better? And that's really it. It's like the restoration industry is sitting on a powder keg of explosive material that could be done. And I've always said it. And Restorers is and Javier is probably one of the very first people who imagined the opportunity the same way I did, and that's why when he came to the class, I knew he was going to be a new brother from another mother, because I knew he saw it that way, and I knew he was like excited to get out there, and he couldn't wait to hit the streets and do it, and he did. He was one of the guys who his actions matched up with his words. He exceeded his words with the actions.
The best part about this partnership thing we have going on, right, is that realistically, we understand our competition. We know what it takes to be a project manager and go sell jobs and stuff. But the amount of things, that moving parts that there are in the restoration process when you're onboarding a customer, I would say it's 3 to 4 times more than plumbing, HVAC. You're not selling something, you're selling a service. You're selling the whole process of the insurance claim that you're about to go through. Their lives are extremely disturbed for sometimes even a year and a half, because if it's a whole house flood. So having someone that doesn't know how to communicate at the highest level and isn't a professional in that, onboard you, and you expect to not have problems with that customer moving forward, it's impossible for you to communicate all of those things without being efficient and knowing how to talk to people properly. So
I mean, if you think you're a high quality plumber, then prove it by communicating at the highest quality too, not just the workmanship, because nobody could ever do the work unless somebody saw value in the work. If you can't communicate value, nobody's buying it.
Well, and also too, you talking about communication, I think it's important because we're in a world where there's especially in a place like LA, there's a lot of different people in this town. There's a lot of different people in general. Communication is very big, because if you think you heard one thing and they said it differently, and you're sitting there pissed off because they didn't do the job that you thought they said they were going to do, communication is huge.
This is a perfect time to ask. It reminded me of, aren't you guys working on something that's going to help, like AI communication or something?
Yeah, we have that CXC.ai, actually CXC MVP. So CXC MVP, it's a mixture of call-by-call training with AI. So all the process that we teach, how to do magic moments, how to learn about the family, how many commitments can you get, voluntary commitments, and it even spits out the prices. So if you've always wanted the thing where you could put your diagnosis and you talk your diagnosis into the program, in 5 seconds, it will create premium, mid-range, and economy options based on your price book, and you'll have those options done in 5 seconds or less.
No guesswork.
How competent does the consumer think it is when a guy comes up with 6 different choices in about 20 minutes after he's at the house? He takes 20 minutes to meet and greet people, 10 minutes to go look at everything, talks all the diagnosis into it, and he's got the prices that are personalized and customized for the customer, ready to go. That's what the CXC AI will do. It's really the dream. There's a guy actually named Kevin Shaw Plumbing, might be a good lead for you. Know who Kevin Shaw is?
No.
He's up here in Monrovia up there. He said to me, he goes, yeah, I love the program, and his guys did good with it. I just can't get my eyes to write all these options up. He goes, if you can only come up with something that would write the options for the guys. And that was like 15 years ago, right? And I'm like, well, I should give him a call and show him.
Guess what?
This thing is amazing. That is true.
So can you tell me is it like it's an app, or is it a product? What is it?
It's both an app and a desktop. So the app will record, first of all, they teach you, in every state of the union has different privacy laws as to how you can record conversations. Different, like California is a 2-party consent, so you have to answer the phone and you have to give people give them notice. Every interaction with our company will be recorded for training purposes. And then we say it again when they send them the dispatch to remind you this call will be recorded for training purposes. On the work order, this call was recorded, so you're getting an agreement, written agreement that they know this.
Yeah.
So you have to get it down to us, number one. So they've done a great job at CXC MVP of making sure the consumer knows that this call is being, and truthfully, it's not in a negative way. And same with the service tech. If you look at, let's put it this way, look at the word micromanaging. People might think, isn't that AI going to be micromanaging? But let's think of it this way, guys. If you're a basketball coach and you sat in the locker room and you tried to guess about what players are tired or which players need to get, what kind of strategy am I going to do? Doing it from the locker room by not watching the game, that's what plumbing managers are trying to do right now. They're trying to teach people what to do, but the guy's in the field on his own. He's in the office on his own. Yeah. He can't see or hear what's going on. And the AI will tell you the tone of the customer as well. This customer's tone, it'll tell you the tone sounds negative. it'll tell you the how many times they use the customer's first name. They'll tell you, they talked about the competition. When did the guy bring up the price? If you brought it up too early, it'll tell you the technician mentioned the price before he did the diagnosis. It'll tell you all the flaws that happen
to help correct.
And even but here's the biggest person who loves it is not the management team. It's the guy in the field. He's like, oh my God, look at what I did to, I got to go change that now. So in the middle of the call, this is happening instantaneously in real time. It's not like wait till the end.
Yeah.
There's other AI solutions that let's go review it when the call's over. This one, you can see as you're talking, the transcription is happening on your phone. You can see all the words and you can listen to the recording, and it gives you the key items, the keywords that are happening. A disc profile of the customer is happening in real time.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. So seriously, cxc.ai is the way to go. And it comes with Uncle Joe, but with one touch of a button for $1 a call, you get Uncle Joe in your pocket. And they charge $5, $5 per call with no upfront fee. There's no training fee. It's like going to get DoorDash. You get it and you start using it now, but it doesn't need to be trained.
Yeah.
It's so simple. You can start recording your own calls right now for $5 a call without me, and $6 a call with Service MVP built into it.
Is this something that we could use?
Our team's using it. We're
right now.
Every one of our salespeople, we're like, dude, we need this.
Okay, we're gonna do it.
It's like,
all right.
Seriously, you do need it because it'll teach every guy. And in a way, you kind of back. Sometimes you need to back into our system. Like, man, Uncle Joe's, he's right. They aren't using the first name at all. Or these prices, I don't know how to explain them. We do need. So I look at it in two ways. We got involved with this project because we wanted to say, like, how can we coach people on a larger scale? I firmly believe that we'll be doing one day that we're going to hit 1 million calls in one day that we will be coaching people. And I really believe that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I really see.
Well, and it's 100%. It's a training method. It's 100%. So when you break it down, it tells you, which employees are trainable and which employees are, well, I guess it's, yeah.
When I was in New York, listen to this, I was at Grasshopper in New York, and I had I was
Amanda
Triolo at Grasshopper Services. Awesome. I was up there in Albany, New York. I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to be learning CXC today, and I'm going to be monitoring you guys today. And they had a record day that day, knowing that I was monitoring them. Like, Uncle Joe's monitoring us. We better get it together. So they had the record day that day. I was out there, and here's what it was. The guys came in and kept coming in throughout the day. They're like, "Oh, Uncle Joe, you probably saw that one I did, right? Don't worry, next call I did it the right way." They knew I'd like, "Oh, you're gonna be disappointed that one. I screwed that one up, right? You saw I didn't even use their name, but look at the next one. I used it 9 times or whatever." So they're correcting, coming to the manager
in the flow.
So instead of the manager having to come to them with problems, the team now comes to the manager like, "Oh, geez, did I screw that one up? I didn't even give him the right choices, right? I gave him the price too soon before I gave him the diagnosis." Yeah. And so that's the magic of CXC MVP. It tells the guy in the field, the service is for the guy in the field first, and of course for management to see exactly what happened out there, so you can coach people. It's like a basketball coach watching the game and then be able to coach the player as to what he's got to do the right way. So it's a service.
This sounds like one of those things that you hear, right? That you just know is a game changer.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those things.
And for $5 a call, I mean, you could turn it on and turn it off. If you want one person to use it, maybe a new trainee only, you do it that way. Yeah. So every company can use it in a different way. We have a company, Stephanie Allen, out there in Camarillo at Airworks.
I know Stephanie and her husband Kevin.
Yeah, so you got to get them to do a lunch and learn, right? With them.
Well, they haven't started their plumbing division yet, but they're awesome.
That's okay.
So once they start their plumbing, I've had conversations with them. They're amazing.
They're.
And congratulations to Stephanie. She just had another baby.
Yeah, it's amazing. She is, and so she's taking a little break, just a touch of a break right now, and then she can get back to it again.
Yeah.
But that company uses it, and Kelly, who uses it over there, she's the one who manages this. She said it's never been easier to manage people because they're managing themselves. And I'm just a cheerleader. A cheerleader for the guy knowing what he did wrong and correcting it himself. It's like, it would be nice if you're a manager and all you had to do is say, good job, John. Thanks for recognizing the problem and thanks for getting back on track. It made my job easy. That's
awesome.
really what it sounds like when you're a manager, when you got CXC MVP. And by the way, everybody who gets CXC will have a service MVP with the click of one button. You can turn it for $1 on or my hope is that everybody tries the service MVP element for $1 per call, and you start saying, turn it off. Then try and turn it off and do it without me.
Why is it so $1?
$1 per
that's
call.
Like,
Well, that's with
how do people afford that? It's $1.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
and they're only going to quintuple their sales.
They must be
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
They're probably, if you can't afford $1, you probably shouldn't be doing this. Right? But,
If you can't
Yeah.
afford $1, you're probably not listening to this anyway.
Yeah, if you're doing that and adding any LSA rates, fees, any of that stuff, you're
Right.
using Google to get to call you, your best job is to keep that call coming in and to book that job.
just go to cxc.ai to do that. And also, if you want to go on Amazon and get the book, What Should We Do? Actually, I just listened to, I had a plane flight going from Memphis back to here, LA and Memphis twice. I listened to the whole thing on Audible. Of course, I went to speed 1.2. Just so you know,
I'm the same.
1.2 on the speed. I listened to the whole thing back and forth. And I tell you what, if I was you, I would say every day, turn that thing on the truck between calls and just have Uncle Joe teaching you and
So the
coaching the whole
audio book is out?
thing. It is, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to put this down because I can't read.
$19.99.
He's got a third grade reading.
How can you afford $19.99? I think.
Oh, no, you're
How
going to
can
give
you
it to me
not?
for free, actually.
How can you not? If you're out there and you're trying to do anything in this field, how can you not afford it?
Well, here's how people are using the Audible. I've already got that feedback. One guy said, "Here's what we're doing. I bought everybody on my team the Audible, and I'm just assigning them every day. Today we're going to listen to chapter 1 today, and we're all going to say what's your biggest takeaway from chapter 1. Between calls, you're going to listen to it, and that's all I want you to do."
Nice.
And he's using it as a training tool, so people get trained. Instead of listening to sports radio, you listen to this.
No, that's a great way to just reaffirm. Yeah.
I agree.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think we have more than enough here.
Yes.
My mouth's getting dry.
Yes.
That's why I got water.
Hey, yeah.
You didn't come prepared like I
All
did.
right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Joe.
I want to say thank you to you, Edgar, for all the opportunities you brought us. And
Thank
Craig,
you.
Joe,
Thank you so much for everything you've done.
You're my
coming
favorite
and saying
uncle.
hi. And everybody, that was Joe Crisara, Uncle Joe at Service MVP, servicemvp.com, and Cirque Civics. I didn't type it down.
CXC.ai.
CXC.ai. Check it out. What, $6 out of pocket, out of call to take care of your customers, to take care of any type of sales related issues, to get them coached up right? Sounds like a good deal to me. Anyway, thank you for watching. We're going to cut for a few minutes and we will be right back. Thank you to Uncle Joe.
Mike and Cody
Thank
are
you,
coming
Edgar.
on next.
We got Mike and Cody coming on next. So give me a minute. I'll talk to you in a bit.